I got it set up without. Now I don't have to hold it. Usually a
Awesome.
bit cheaper than mobile.
And we are live. Let me go get that link. There you go. I sent that over to you.
Hold a sec. Did you send it on Discord?
Yeah, send it on Discord for you too.
Okay,
And I'll get
perfect.
it out on my end too, real quick. Alright, then I just gotta throw it in the main Discord and on Reddit, and we are set.
Oh, nice. Nocturne's our first viewer. Hello, Nocturne. How are you?
Oh, there he is. Nice. Saw him before I did. Good stuff.
Is
Okay,
it Shark Week?
got that done. Oh, it's definitely Shark Week. We're gonna have some fun with that. It's like Trop says, if people don't volunteer, I'll volunteer people. Okay, and that is good. So we are welcome to Feeding the Trolls episode 11. Still don't know how the fuck we got here to this point. We're all still holding on strong. We've survived half anniversary. I mean, there's still some time to grab some tokens left if you hadn't. Please get Seraphi. Please, if anybody tells you to not pull on this and wait, please grab Seraphi. Try and get her to Awaken 1 if you can. Uh, Absolutely needed unit. Do not sleep on it and hope to get it in 6 months from now. You will sorely regret that decision. So please, hopefully you get her. If you're a new player, you're building your box and you don't have her, I normally don't tell people to re-roll, but I would re-roll to get her. I would seriously do that, but she is just as broken as people said she was, and it's ridiculous. Like just the amount she can heal, what she can cover. She gets even MP regen at Awaken 1. She puts my Emperor Slime to shame. Like, if I had to choose between Emperor and Curiel, I'd be like Emperor. I still like him, he's a great unit, but if I have to choose between Kiryu plus Emperor or Seraphi, I'm choosing Seraphi. Like, that's just how broken the unit is.
That's pretty fair.
It's crazy. I mean, I didn't think we'd have that type of power creep already, but we do, and it's you gotta get that unit. I mean, what are you really missing at the end of the day if you don't get her? Some EX content, maybe some things on stages, but at the same time, she's gonna make your life easier, and I don't see her ever. It's kind of like WK's leader ability. It isn't going to get replaced for a very long time. When Mortimer comes out after the first anniversary, there'll finally be a unit who has a slightly better, 5% more spell potency leadership ability. But I mean, for a very long time, WK's leadership ability is going to be one of the best ones for casters. So you are going to get a lot of mileage out of that unit. So if you can get her, and save up your awakening crystals for getting her to 1. Or if you don't have the crystals for whatever reason, just try and get 2 copies of her. That is my advice for Seraphi. That she is broken. She is absolutely broken in this game, and she will make your life easier. And please do not use her in arena. That just will make people not want to fight you.
Exactly. It's such a troll unit in Arena. Just hit something, it gets auto healed.
Yeah, and it's like you her auto heal right now is pretty low, but I don't. I mean, once she's 110, I can only imagine what she's going to be auto healing for, and some of the other factors. I don't have her there yet, but she's already healing for like 70, or 80 automatically for free, and then plus
That's
she's
crazy.
getting the regen on top of that. So it's busted, and she doesn't use any mana if she does that free that auto regen. So we'll see where that goes. But speaking of arena, oddly enough, the 1 week where you would think I would do poorly because there wasn't S units involved or some real just running gun violence, I decimated the field with running gun violence using the A army. It worked out. Orochi came in clutch. Like anybody who was like slept on Orochi, he worked out pretty well this week. I mean, I tried to use Khan early on. It just Khan wasn't really working too well, and then I was like, let me give Orochi a try. He's max awakened. He's got a good weapon on him. Let's see how he does with the team. And he was able to help me get a couple of 2 turns for matches this week where that normally would have been 3 turn. But it's just like one of those things where there was some really good free units. Like Slan was absolutely for free, and if you didn't max awaken him, that was awful because I mean he worked out well this week. How many people had Helion? How many people had Green Dragon? And he would just walk up with his bang attack and punch a Helion pretty good, or take out a Green Dragon. Like he almost one shot a well he actually did one shot a Green Dragon, but he crit he crit on him, and it was just like, well, that's normally a unit that's a 2 turn to kill, or like a coordinated effort. So
Yeah,
and
thank
it's
you.
you can't really say that about too many games where they would give you a free unit that's superior. Just the only thing you had to do was show up at the right time, play the game, and grind out the stages. I like this game. It gives you some opportunity if you stay with the game. If you play it long enough, you could eventually have a really good roster, even if you don't really throw any money into the game, or you don't really you know have good luck with the gotcha unit aspect. It's just at that point you're still grinding away and you're putting the time in, and it could really work to your favor.
I think from what I've seen this week, though, I definitely think they could afford to um, give us stronger event units. Because sure, Slan was pretty good, and then Pack Demon made Umbra work. But for the most part, you saw like Boreals, Claude in the last half. People maxed out Claude real fast, and then in the top 10, they just maxed out Claude real fast, and they put him on the team. But
I
I'd
didn't get
say
to
like
fight against him, so I don't know how he did. But Boreal was, if somebody had a Boreal against mine, I just neutralized him quickly. It was just not even because of Black Dragon. Boreal was, he was countered, and this week coming in, this isn't going to be a free unit friendly week. This one here is definitely, they kind of balanced it out. Like last week, you could get away with free units. This week, it's going to be Estark. It's going to be Black
yeah.
Dragon. You're going to be, the only one who's free that you're going to probably see a lot of is Halberd Source, because, I mean, he's Zam resistant and he's free. So he's going to be a good staple to the team. But, I mean, otherwise, Estark is just going to walk the field on people. This is going to be brutal. It's going to be an absolute nightmare for anybody trying to use some of their other units. And like you had mentioned in Pac's podcast to bring Slan, but I say Slan is probably a really bad idea this week since he's weak to Zam. I can only imagine what Estark would hit him for, if he could one hit him because he's weak and it's Zam potency week. That'd be interesting.
But the plan when I suggested that was to not fight a Starks because I don't really know if I want to choose a team with a Stark this week, anyways.
Oh, you don't. You want to stay clear away. I mean, if you're using Slan or you're using Boreal, you want to fight teams that aren't going to be trying to fit into that arena mold for the week. Like, you want to go with people who are maybe like, you know what, I can't really match these guys here. I can't do this, but if I could bring something that I've used before and it works, I'll just try and make it work again this week. And there will be people who will do that. I've done that before with what was it, like Crackle Week, where I only had Zoma and I didn't really have a good team built up for Crackle, or even Beast Week. I just went with my caster setup, and I placed top 50 with it, but I just muscled my way through. So maybe people will do that too, and it'll work out for them, or it'll end horribly, and they'll be like, "I hate this week."
It's just true. Yeah, you got to think of the early days because like crack week, I was in the same boat as you. I think I only had a Zoma. He was probably even unawakened at that point. And me and Nib that week we tied for like the first non-cheaters. So it's like where there's a will, there's a way. And then beasts at that time only Umaro was doing the beast rule. Everyone else was just using everything else. And I think I made top 10 that week as well. It's just you don't have to follow the rules, but with this Stark, it might be a little bit different. Like you don't need a Stark, but you also don't want to fight a Stark. So it's an interesting one.
That's like with Sorrow. I have a caster setup, so whenever I saw Sorrow with the caster setup, I would avoid him. But if I was using True Lord and Halberd Saurus, and I saw a Sorrow, I would just go for him because they could melt him. Like they could just AoE him down to a point where he wasn't going to be an issue for them as long as they got to him beforehand. Because most people weren't running, max agility on their Sorrow. They were going for heavy hitting, and by the time his turn came up, well, he was already
Mhm.
gone. He was done, so he couldn't use his bang attack on Halberd to cause massive damage.
Yeah. Have you managed to kill Sorrows with just two breaths anyway? Because I tried and he's still too tanky to fall to two breaths for sure. That's one of the problems I have with Sorrow. And then if you don't kill him with the two breaths, he has a pretty good chance of paralyzing Dragonlord True Form. So that's a hell of an annoying unit to fight.
I've
It's
beaten
Sorrow.
him. It's just generally I won't go for like a higher end Zoro. Like I'll pick something on the weaker end. Like I'll be very careful about the opponent. Plus, I've got a really good roll on my one sword for Frizz, and I've got a decent roll on another sword for Frizz if I'm looking to just use breath attacks. Like I've got a B rank sword with some multipliers, so I'll use both of those in tandem, and that'll get me some good damage to try and win. But you're right. If you don't get the kill, it's over. You're done.
Yeah. I mean, not always, but you do have to roll the dice and see if he'll paralyze you or not. It's going to be a lot better when Killing Machine 2 comes out. That'll just neutralize Sorrow, no questions asked. But until then, he's still really good.
What's Killing Machine 2 weak to?
Uh, Zap and Sizz. So decent resistances. You don't have too many strong Zap units in the game.
I mean, what, aside from Bianca and Royal Reptile, and how many people are going to be running Bianca? Or, I mean, I have a max Royal Reptile. I might end up having to run him at some point, but that's interesting because if he comes out and the skill tree is out, I don't know. I mean, does he even have a skill tree yet for Royal Reptile at this point? It's too many unknowns because we're still what? We're still at least a month or two away from KM2.
Yeah, I'd say that's about accurate because people told me he comes sort of after Dragon Quest 2. So we assume Dragon Quest 2 lasts a month, which it probably will. It's a main event. And we got about a month and a half, 2 months.
So between that, we're at a point though. It's like we've actually cleared the major hurdle. I mean, there's people who didn't think this game would even go 6 months. Now here we are, and we're waiting to see what the new roadmap's going to bring and what they're going to do to streamline us. Because it does seem like they want to streamline global at least to be maybe only a couple months behind JP, which I'll take it. I mean, it's going to be tough for them to do that and not shove 18 different banners down our throats at the same time, but I'll take it.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of banners. I think the trend I noticed with Japan is, as soon as Dragon Quest 2 come out, they just stuff banner after banner. It almost feels like weekly banners. So
Oh Jesus
for people
Christ.
that like collecting, that'll be a fun time.
No, that won't be a fun time. That'll be awful. I might have to actually be like, well, I can't. I've got a certain amount of budget I play with, and I can't really mess with it, and I may just have to pick and choose a banner at that point, because I may just have to start being like, well, I can't bother trying to go for this unit because I have no use for it. It's like heroes. I won't purposely pull on a hero. They're just not worth my time, but I will pull on a Dark Lord because that's what, I have all S7 or S6 Dark Lord, so I'm going to want to have another S6 Dark Lord. Like, I'm not looking forward to pulling on Hargun and Malroth when they come, but I'll fucking do it.
Yeah, and then just hope for the best. Hope you get them and don't have to chase three stamps.
I have never had to do that yet, knock on wood when I say that, but I've never had to do a full three for a unit, and I probably wouldn't. Like, even with Dragoir, I think I went like 1.5 and I didn't get him, and I was like, you know what? This just isn't worth it. I'm not gonna try. And I eventually got him at half anniversary. Like, it worked out for me. But man,
It's
it's just,
lucky.
yeah. Although I'm still waiting to get tortured. I'm just gonna save up cards and just grab them the old-fashioned way. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
Depending
well,
if
you might have got a bit lucky in that sense, considering how many units you pulled for. Because even Nib, he was telling us the story. Like he had a full awakened Dragor, but I think his first one he got on that on that three stamp, and then so he went away because he really wanted Dragor. But there's not that many people that would have done that.
no, because that's a full stamp is like what, $800, and then you're after that you've got a and you only get one, and then you still want four more, and it's like, well, what's going to happen? Do I have to go put another 800 in to get another one, or that's that's a tricky slope. I mean, I can see how people get burned out on this game. I mean, you could throw a lot of money into this game at some point, and then it's like, well, I got to keep doing this if I want to keep in the top ranking, or and it's just like it's really hard for people to transition because I went from full guns blazing to, I took it back 18 notches a bit, and I'm just kind of strategically spending at this point and hoping for the best. But hey, it's not easy. I mean, I'll be the first one to admit it. If you're somebody you like the leaderboards, you like the attention, and then you have to stop spending or spending less, it really can kill some people. I mean, it definitely killed some people's motivation for this game because we don't see some of that top 10 anymore. Like, some of those older guys are completely gone. Like, they're they're completely disappeared now because the sad truth of this game is if you miss a couple of units and you don't grind on top of that, you're out of the top 20. You're gone within like two or three banners. That's the sad
Yeah,
truth of this game for the competitive aspect.
and I was gonna say something I find fairly ironic too is you hear of a lot of games that are like pay to win. Uh, you pay to get to the top, but that's it. But then it's like with Dragon Quest Tact, to get to the top, it asks a lot of both your time and your money. So it asks for both. You can't just get away with paying a lot, but you also got to give them a lot of time.
Right,
So
because
it's
nobody could come into this game today, which I like. Nobody can sit down here, throw 50 Gs at this game, and be rank 1. They can't. It's impossible. There's just too many units they missed. There's too many things they they slept on. And if also they threw a lot of money into this game and they played it haphazardly since the start and they didn't fully awaken units or they missed out on some stuff, they're also out of the running. Like, Sharkai is a really good example of this, and we're going to actually review his account in a few. But Sharkai
yeah.
threw a lot of money in on just heroes, but he neglected a lot of things along the way, like a lot of the lesser units, the event units. And you'll see that, in terms of where the top of the top are, we're past 600k CP at this point, and I think he's sitting at like, 570. Well, he spent a lot of money on this game. He's probably spent almost as much as myself or others, maybe more because he's been chasing the hero units and there's been a lot of them lately. And he's only like rank 14. Like, there's that much of a disparity at this point. Like, he's definitely top tier for spending, but in terms of top tier for CP outside of hero ranking, he's only he's not even close. Like, 30k is 10 new units. Like, that's just something you can't make up overnight. That's you can't just go back in time and get those units. I mean, hell, I'm having to wait for a gold card to get the one I missed from the Giuliante banner just to kind of retake my crown, and I'm still debating doing that because what'll happen is by the time I get the fucking gold card, another banner will come out, and I might end up missing another unit, and it's like do I chase that glory again that I once had, or do I play a little bit smarter and hold those gold cards off for like skill blossoming or some irises or something that I might need that'll, give me more value across the board for the account. So it's tough. I mean, I want to chase that glory, but at the same time, it's I can't afford to keep up with that. I need a second fucking job at this rate.
Exactly, yeah. And me and Pac Team are doing our part to raise awareness that you've become free to play now, and you're just very lucky, you get an S unit.
I still pay. I mean, I'm not super free to play. I'll throw some money in every paycheck, but it's not like before. It's not like super crazy, I'll throw in enough for a couple of multis, maybe a stamp, and that'll be it. And if I get it, great, which I have, thank God. I mean, I'll do some on air and I'll do a couple off air because I feel like sometimes I get luck and sometimes I don't. And I pulled I did a couple this morning and I got an extra Seraphi. I got my Seraphi awakened and I got my Claude to like an extra awakening too. So it was like a win-win. But I mean, I don't envy people who can just play this game for free. Like, I don't envy if you're looking to be like top tier, if you're looking to like, play in the CP boards, it just doesn't happen. But if you're cool with not being top on the CP boards and trying to maybe do arena, you can still do pretty well with arena. I mean, you're living proof of that. You can do very well with arena with what you have as long as you put in effort and you don't have to spend, thousands of dollars.
Yeah, no, arenas at least there's a chance. There definitely is still a difference. Like you might have noticed if you tried to do like arena on your account and Lolliot's account, you might notice like a noticeable difference. But with some strategy that can be covered, right? And I don't know, you just gotta.
Yeah, I did definitely saw a difference helping out the wife on Lolliet. And it's like, oh, he doesn't have this and he doesn't have that. So it's like where I'm usually able to just overwhelm somebody with absolute brute force and devastation. It's like, oh, I have to actually think here. It's like I was playing the rank A week over on Lolliet's account, whereas I was only being careful with the rank A's because it's like I don't have the usual power I'm playing with here. Although technically, I think I did. I mean, I was just dismantling people. Now I think about it, I went back and looked at some of the matches, and I was dissecting some of those teams. I mean, they were 2 units down before turn two, and it was like they couldn't do anything. Even if they paralyzed 2 units or they did something, it didn't matter. They were done. They were absolutely dead in the water.
And that's on Kage account, right? Not Lolliot account.
Oh, yeah, that's on my account. No, Lalia couldn't do that. Lalia didn't have good roll. I mean, here's something for you. Here's food for thought for folks. Gear makes a world of difference. Like Pac had his salon, he showed it off. It was like 310 for agility, and my salon had like 60 something more agility, and he was going against Hellions and Green Dragons, and he wasn't really missing as much on that fourth hit. Like sometimes he would just take out a Hellion altogether, and that was from doing good rolls on gear, like farming the gear up and consistently trying to get a better roll on it, working on the cloak of evasion, getting that up, and working on Sorrow's Claw and trying to get that as high as possible for an agility roll, and just combining those two things, you had a salon that was now almost always able to hit that fourth shot, and also going before Hellions. Like so, he was able to get the hits in and take them out, or he was able to get the hits in to where another unit could just walk up after the fact and just dink them, and they were dead. It's like they didn't even have to be close. It just, it was just like take them out with like a gust breath or another ability, and they were done. So don't sleep on gear in this game. Like if you don't, if you're looking to try and get an edge on somebody and you don't have all the units, gear is the next best thing. I mean, take the rolls on
Yeah,
gear when you can.
yeah. In arena, like even if you're low budget and you're at somewhat of a disadvantage, it's still like don't kind of give up. Just for whatever you can, just try to do what you can, right? Like if you can't catch up in awakenings, but you can afford to re-roll the gear, 50 times, whatever it takes to get a perfect roll, it might be worth it because you can't leave damage on the table. You just can't.
Right, and it's like plussing up skills. If you can afford to plus up skills, do it. I can't tell you how many times I brought something into arena that I never really used, and I didn't even realize that it didn't have a skill up on it, and then I got it like 5 or 6 levels really quickly. Brought it back in, and it's like, well, I could have saved myself 4 or 8 points here. It's just, just do what you can. I mean, resources aren't abundant in this game, but take what you can and just build upon it and give yourself every little advantage you can, because that's the only way you can really win some of these matches when you don't have power. And then if you do have power and you do that on top of everything else, you can really use strategies that nobody else can. Like, again, Slan just going in there and just devastating everybody. It was ridiculous. Like, most people were using a flail on Slan, and I was just using Sorrow Claws and a Cloak of Evasion, and it just worked better. I put the actually put the flail on Black Dragon instead and let him just beat up on Ragnar's.
Yeah, that's what I learned this week. It seems like a good counter if you pulled a lot on a Stark, which some people did, and have a pretty awakened Black Dragon. That's definitely good arena. Maybe not only for this week, but for other weeks too. Like the past week, he might be good this week as well, um, because that attack will do a lot. But it's still tough to say if he's better than other ones like Boreal Dragon, and just because they have more range overall and more power.
See,
So definitely, you have a lot of options for A units, which can make choosing harder. But
yeah, and well, for him, there's pros and cons. Bareel is out of the equation this week. If just a quick PSA: don't bring Bareel. Do not bring him this week. Do not bring Slan. Do not bring any of those units if you are going to be going up against somebody who's going to utilize Zam, because it's just going to be a kiss of death. Like, somebody's going to have a Bone Baron and it's going to walk up and potentially one-shot your Bareel with Zamel. That could happen. You could get a crit and you're done. Whereas maybe if you got a crit last week, it wouldn't be as disastrous. You'd still live, but it's just stay away. Stay far away with some of these units, because it is this week is going to be interesting, and at some point they are going to do a dragon week, and I'm going to have some fun with that, because I do like my dragon units. I have a lot of them worked up, and I eventually want to use Dread Dragon for something. I mean, I feel like he's that one investment that I never really got to do anything with. I mean, I've never got to really use Dread Dragon and be like, well, I can get a use out of him. At least with the Rochi I did, though.
do anyways, do we want to do the account dissection now?
Yes, let me get that set up. We were going to make fun of Shark Eye's account since he volunteered.
Because yeah, he volunteered or we volunteered him.
Oh,
I
we
got
so
like 10,
volunteered
10
him.
to 15 minutes, but we can make this. We can make this a memorable one.
Okay, let me get this set up on screen. Go ahead.
That'll have to be like a speed roast.
Oh, that'll be fine, because the only thing we can see is his main box anyway, so.
Oh yeah, true. So we can just.
Yeah, so we can't go over his other stuff on the account, but we can definitely go over his box. So, yeah, we'll have fun with that. Like I said, I glanced over it and I saw a couple of things that made me wonder about him.
Nice. So you'll be able to start it off, and then I'll see if I'll
Yeah,
have any feedback from there, or
let
even
me
like.
see. Let me get it opened up here, and then let me see if we can get this opened as well. There we go. Okay, let's look on him. Now, again, I mentioned this earlier. He's at 571 KCP. Like, he put a lot of money into this account. Like, he definitely threw down some dollars.
He threw some G's.
And just seeing the top end of his box and kind of what he's pulled on, he definitely pulled on Half Anniversary. He's got a good S-Dark. He even pulled on Killing Machine at some point in time. He's only got one Nimzel, which, I mean, I would have gotten two if you could, but I get it. I mean, maybe you don't have the resources for it. And then you'll start to see a trend as we go deeper down here on some of the other units. Like here okay, he got Seraphi, he's still playing, so I mean, he kind of checked out of the community, but he's definitely still playing the game. And it's weird because he's maxed out. Like, Vendor Ghost is maxed. He got him done. I mean, he obviously got the Songbird done because he pulled on all three banners to get as many heroes as he could. He got Claude. And then you'll come down here and you'll start to see, well, wait a second. why is his green dragon only like four awaken? Why is his dragon slime only four awaken? Why is his king bubble slime only three awaken? Like, this was a guy who was not happy with Orochi. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, you had the right tools for Orochi, and it's just as we keep going down further, you start to see some of the other units that were farmable at a time, and they're not really awakened up that much. Like the B rank slime, he was farmable at one point. Wordle also, you have a bunch of these units. Even, well, I guess I can't fault him on Mucifer though. I can't fault him for Mucifer because not everybody was going to chase that unit. Even with half stand week at the time, and I can't blame him for that. But then here's another event unit, another B rank slime. That's only 3 awakening as well, and you start to see a trend here. Even the Tiger Cub, some of these guys here you're looking through, and it's just like not really put a lot of effort into the awakenings on these units, but he definitely tried to collect as many units as he could because he even has the gold serpent. So it's, I don't know, it's weird. It's just like one of those things where you could throw a lot of money into this game, but if you only take half measures, well, you can only get you so far. So he's got a combination of playing and money, and he's still not even close to that upper circle of the elite of the elite.
Wait, can you quickly scroll to the top of the box again? I wanted to see
Sure.
if I can make an observation. So let's see. So you look at his you look at his top 2 rows, and what I mostly noticed from all his top 2 rows, a lot of really strong, really awakened heroes that probably a lot spent into that, at least for the time being, we'll just never see play in arena. I mean, they can see play, but they're just not as good as Dark was. There's a few exceptions like Deborah, maybe Bianca, but definitely not Elena. I mean, I'd rather just use Hellion, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Elena. I mean, the other thing that's it's funny is because, well, I mean, nobody saw we were going to get Seraphi at this point, but it's like, some of these units are so obsolete that Curio, he's never going to really use Curio because Seraphi's here now. So it's like he max awakened that unit just to get rank 1 in that field, and then now he has Seraphi, who even at 2 awakenings is still worlds better. And then Pax says here, who is better unit this week, Halberd or DTF? True Lord, Dragon Lord True Form. Uh, I'd say probably Halberd. Just I don't know. I feel like Halberd's a better pick because you can have him max awakened as opposed to Dragon Lord True Form. Who, I mean, granted the damage doesn't matter too much, but for durability reasons, I'd say Halberd is better durability because you're more likely to have him at 4 or 5 awakening than you would for the limited run gotcha unit.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty accurate.
Hmm.
Let's see, what else do you have to say about this count? I think Nocturne was curious how many awakenings his Snowbird had, or how many awakening
Let's.
points.
Oh, that's a yeah. We could definitely look at that. Let's take a look here. So,
Just how many of those he
oh my fucking god! Oh my god! He pulled he pulled 19 over. He pulled 19 snowbirds over. Jesus Christ. Oh,
he went
okay.
hard.
So
He went
then,
hard.
now here's a better question. Let's look at the generalized ladies, right? Let's see here. I'm gonna bet you some money that at least one of them is probably more than 5. I'm gonna say he got a copy somewhere of another one. Oh no, he didn't. Okay, so he didn't have that bad luck at least. So he
That's good.
didn't pull to where he got extras of something from another banner, thank God. But man, that's wow. That is rough. That is rough.
That is, yeah, the amount of pulls it takes just to get that many snowbirds, you got to think. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you get 2 or 3 on average from a banner, that's still a lot.
He pulled
Snowbird.
12 armored scorpions to get Max Elena. So pulled 12 Armored Scorpions, and let's see how many bodkins he pulled to get Max Curio. He pulled 19 bodkins to get Max.
So he spent a lot on Kiro, which is like the worst one.
Yeah, I mean the bodkin's good. Don't get me wrong, the bodkin's a really good unit, but it's just he threw a lot of money in for something that, and it's tough to say this and realize it, but I mean the rank 1 leaderboards don't get a shit. It's just all for recognition. Like, I threw money in for Dread Dragon just for the fuck of it, just to get Dragon CP and total
Yeah.
amount CP. It didn't do me a lick of good. But man, that is brutal.
Like that's definitely a good way to see. I think like a few months ago, is it a few months ago? I don't know. I was randomly checking Nib's box, and he had like 18 or 19 of those trolls, the S tier trolls. So he,
Oh
he got
Jesus
trolled pretty
Christ!
hard.
I mean, I've got some duplicates of some of the S's where I'm at a point where I finally got my last general S, and that was Royal Reptile from 4 to 5. And now, if I ever just get a general S, it's just a token. There's no upgrade at all. There's nothing. It's very sad.
Yeah. Well, what would you say is the general banner unit that you see the most likely? That you probably have like 10 or more copies over the limit.
Well, let's take a look. Let's see here. Let's go. Let's bust out my box here real quick and let's go through. Let's see. Emperor, I've got 6 over, so it's not Emperor. Well, I could just scroll through here. It's definitely not going to be Royal Reptile. WKM at 12. So far the leader is WK at 12.
Okay. But like King She Slime or something. Who do you normally see often? Or
Let's
maybe you just
see.
don't get a lot of over duplicates.
Great Dragon's at 14, so he's in the running. Squidzilla's at 13.
Okay.
I've never gotten more than the necessary number of hybrids. Okay, that's good. Archdemon is 3 over, so far, Great Dragon's in the lead at 14. Oh, Dread Dragon's a sad case. Let's keep going. And then, of course, Killing Machine, we never got him fully maxed. We never got him fully maxed. Ooh, Hell Gladiator. Hell Gladiator's only 2 over. I think maybe Great Dragon win. Oh, wait, let's take King's She Slime's at 11, so it's not him.
You still got a lot of them, but yeah. Great Dragon might be
I
the
think
winner here.
Great Dragon is, and I've never even. Oh wait, let's look at. That's right, Nightclubber's still here too. Nightclubber's at 7. I think that's it for my. Oh, Metal Dragon maybe. No, I mean maybe it was Great Dragon. I don't think there's any other S units here. I'm looking through. Oh, there's Prism Peacock. Prism Peacock 15. Fucking 15 on
Oh,
Prism Peacock.
okay.
Wow.
He's the winner.
I think he's the winner, and I got him the other night, and I was so pissed off. When I was trying to get Seraphi, I got him, or on some banner, I think for Nimzo.
Yeah.
So
So
that was the one that pissed me off, and then I got her to one awaken today. I'm happy, and she'll get to 90 at some point.
at least we know now who the most awakened S tiers are. Um, yeah, I gotta take off in a few here. How should we close this? I guess we got to roast Sharkai a bit. I'm not sure what more we could have said with what we saw, right? But I feel like we got the
It's
point
just
across.
one of those things where you know what he went and he chased after something, and I think people what made him leave was people saying to him like, hey, you kind of chased after this, and there wasn't really much point to it, you know, aside from your just for you wanting to do that. I think he took offense to it, and now we're just adding insult to injury after the fact. But as somebody who's in the same boat as him and who's done it before and will probably continue to do it, I mean, I get it, but I can also admit that it's fucking dumb. I'm an idiot for doing it. It's pretty stupid. I mean, I'm working overtime and other things to just try and stay competitive, and it's stupid. I mean, I don't really get as much out of it. What I got more out of, to be honest, was grinding out my units and was grinding out, the A ranks and staying faithful to the events and getting those units and then having a need for them. Like anybody who slept on Orochi, he was a perfect unit this week. He was really good. I mean, I regret not using him for the first half of this arena because he came through. His good roll, good HP. You could use the Dragon Shield on him if you wanted to, or another armor piece, and his Scorch was pretty decent. Plus, I mean, he was just one of those units that you didn't have to fight a lot of because, people out there were told to kind of stay away from him, and they were afraid to lose the stam and other things. And it's just like, you know what? Anything good usually comes with some sort of risk. And he came with some sort of risk, and he turned out to finally have a use. It's something I told people before. You don't know when these things are going to have value or when they're going to come into play, but at some point they all do. They absolutely, it's going to be true with skill blossoming as well. There's going to be some units here that, we laugh at. We got all these extra copies of them, but they might actually get some use. So on that note, I think we're good for tonight because I know you got to go. So we're going to wrap this up pretty quick. But again, thanks Trop again for joining us. His YouTube is in the link down below. Please go subscribe to him. Check him out. I mean, he's trying here. Our community isn't really as big as it used to be, but we have people here, and we need to support every person we have who's just trying to get a good message out to the community and help people and grow their accounts and not try and derail them.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and if I leave, that's just going to be another missing poster on there. But I'm pretty sure I'm here to stay at least for the first little bit. At least for a while.
Shit, if you could at least beat Nib, beat him out of the amount of episodes he did, I'd be appreciative, and then we'll add you to the missing poster list. I'm running out of room up there. It's gonna look like One Piece soon, where I have all these fucking bounties and shit, like all these different people.
So missing poster list. I've at least beat Lolly out, I think, right? I
Yeah,
think he's only done one.
yeah, he's done like one or two, so you're tied right now, and you'll probably be back next week because you have nowhere else
Yeah,
better to be. So we'll see you
exactly.
again. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time. You have a great night. Take care.
Thanks. Take care, guys.